There are roughly 40 quadrillion mitochondria inside your body right now. These are the tiny structures inside every cell that convert the food you eat and the oxygen you breathe into usable energy. They power your heart, your brain, your muscles, and every biological process that keeps you alive. And if you are over 50, there is something happening inside them that almost nothing in mainstream health advice will tell you about. Mitochondrial function declines approximately 10% per decade after age 30 in most adults. That is the baseline biology of aging. What accelerates that decline, what pushes it from a gradual slope into a steep drop, is chronic oxidative stress from specific dietary triggers. And the place where most adults over 50 are accumulating that damage every single day without realizing it is not late night snacking. It is not processed junk food, it is breakfast. Specifically, 5 foods that appear on almost every healthy breakfast list that have been marketed as smart choices for decades and that are quietly damaging the exact cellular machinery that produces your energy. The reason you wake up exhausted, the reason your brain feels foggy at 10 a.m., the reason you cannot lose weight despite exercising, the reason your muscles recover slower than they used to, all of it traces back to the same biological structure. And 5 foods that most people consider healthy are systematically shutting it down. Today, we walk through all 5, counting down from number 5 to number 1. And by the end, you will understand why number 3 in particular is the single most damaging food eaten by adults over 50 in the Western world. Before we get to the list, you need to understand why mitochondria matter more than calories. Dr. Martin Picard at Columbia University has built one of the most respected research programs in the world on mitochondrial health. His work has consistently shown that mitochondrial function is a more accurate predictor of biological age than chronological age. 2 adults born in the same year can have wildly different mitochondrial states, and those states predict how they will feel, how they will look, and how long they will live. When mitochondria are damaged, they produce less ATP, which is the energy currency your cells spend on every single biological activity. They also produce more reactive oxygen species, the chemical equivalent of exhaust fumes that damage everything around them. This creates a negative spiral. Tired cells cannot repair themselves properly. The damage accumulates, dysfunction builds, and every symptom we associate with aging, fatigue, brain fog, weight gain, muscle loss, slow recovery, poor sleep can be traced back to this underlying collapse. What you eat at breakfast sets the mitochondrial tone for your entire day. The wrong food first thing in the morning is not just a caloric decision. It is a cellular assault. Let us count down. Food number 5, commercial orange juice. A single 8-ounce glass of orange juice contains roughly 22 grams of fructose with 0 fiber to slow absorption. Fructose is not like glucose. When you drink orange juice, almost all of that fructose goes directly to your liver for processing. Your muscles cannot use it. Your brain cannot use it. Only your liver can. And it does so through a metabolic pathway that is particularly hard on mitochondria. Research from Dr. Robert Lustig at the University of California, San Francisco has documented how high doses of fructose cause something called mitochondrial fragmentation in liver tissue. Instead of the long, interconnected networks that healthy mitochondria form, fructose exposure breaks them into smaller, fragmented pieces that cannot produce energy efficiently. Over months and years of daily orange juice consumption, this fragmentation accumulates. The liver becomes less metabolically flexible. And here is what most people miss. It does not matter if the juice is labeled 100% pure. No added sugar, organic, or cold pressed. The fructose content is the same. The mitochondrial damage is the same. The morning glass of orange juice that millions of adults consider virtuous is one of the most consistent mitochondrial stressors in the modern diet. Food number 4, flavored Greek yogurt. This one hurts because Greek yogurt has a legitimate health halo. Plain full fat, Greek yogurt genuinely is a nutritious food, rich in protein, probiotics, and fat-soluble vitamins. But the flavored varieties, the ones with fruit on the bottom, with honey, with vanilla, with strawberry, with blueberry, are a different product entirely. Most flavored Greek yogurts contain 15 to 20 grams of added sugar per single serving container. That sugar is typically a combination of cane sugar and fruit concentrates, which means you are getting both glucose and fructose at the same time. This glucose-fructose combination is exactly what the research has identified as most damaging to mitochondria because it hits multiple metabolic pathways simultaneously. The insulin spike from glucose combines with the liver stress from fructose to create a compound effect. On top of that, many low-fat flavored varieties add seed oils to improve texture. These industrial oils introduce additional oxidative stress through breakdown products of linoleic acid. Studies published in the Journal of Nutrition have linked chronic intake of sweetened dairy to reduced mitochondrial biogenesis, the process by which your body creates new, healthy mitochondria. If you are eating flavored Greek yogurt thinking you are making a smart choice, switching to plain full fat with fresh berries is one of the single easiest upgrades you can make. Food number 3. This is the one you probably ate this morning. Instant oatmeal. Millions of adults over 50 eat instant oatmeal every single day, believing they are doing exactly what their doctor recommended. Heart healthy, whole grain, fiber rich. Here is what the marketing does not tell you. Instant oatmeal is oats that have been pre-cooked, dried, rolled extremely thin, and often partially powdered to speed up preparation. All of that processing destroys the physical fiber structure that normally slows glucose absorption in whole oats. By the time you pour hot water on instant oatmeal and eat it, the starch molecules are essentially pre-broken down and ready to be converted into glucose the moment they hit your digestive system. The glycemic index of instant oatmeal can reach 79, and for reference, table sugar has a glycemic index of 65. Your morning instant oatmeal spikes your blood sugar higher than pure sugar. On top of that, most flavored packets contain 10 to 15 grams of added sugar, dried fruits, and artificial flavorings. The resulting glucose spike triggers a massive insulin surge that shuts down your mitochondrial fat oxidation for up to 4 hours. Your body is locked into sugar burning mode. Your fat cells are locked shut. Your mitochondria receive the signal to stop pulling from stored energy and wait for the next glucose delivery. Research from Harvard School of Public Health has linked high glycemic breakfast patterns to accelerated mitochondrial aging in middle-aged adults. The bowl of instant oatmeal that feels like the responsible adult choice is one of the most consistent drivers of morning mitochondrial stress in anyone over 50. And the cruelest part is that the people eating it are eating it specifically because they think they are protecting their health. Food number 2, commercial granola. Everyone assumes granola is healthier than sugary cereal because it looks natural, rustic, crunchy, filled with nuts and oats and honey. What commercial granola actually is a product baked in industrial seed oils, typically soybean or canola, at high temperatures for extended periods. That baking process creates oxidized lipid compounds. One of these compounds is called 4-hydroxynonenal, or 4-HNE, which has been directly shown in multiple studies to damage mitochondrial membranes. When you eat commercial granola, you are consuming these pre-formed oxidation products directly. They get absorbed into your bloodstream and delivered to your cells. A typical serving of commercial granola contains 400 to 500 calories and 15 to 25 grams of added sugar from honey, agave syrup, or maple syrup. Researchers describe this combination of oxidized oils plus concentrated sugar as a mitochondrial double hit. The oxidized oils damage mitochondrial membranes directly. The sugar triggers the insulin response that shuts down fat oxidation. Dr. Kate Shanahan has written extensively on how industrial seed oils specifically damage the mitochondrial inner membrane where ATP production physically takes place. The cristae, the folded structures inside mitochondria where energy is generated, are particularly vulnerable to oxidation damage from these oils. Homemade granola made with coconut oil, butter or olive oil, and minimal sweetener is a completely different food. Commercial granola from a cardboard box is a daily mitochondrial stressor disguised as a health food. And food number 1, fortified breakfast cereals. Even the cereals marketed as whole grain, high fiber, and made with real ingredients typically contain synthetic iron added as reduced elemental iron. This is essentially iron filings, not a chemical compound that your body recognizes. Literal metallic iron. If you crush up most fortified cereals and run a strong magnet through the powder, you can physically pull out the iron particles. This form of iron cannot be regulated by normal human physiology. Your body has an elegant system for controlling heme-iron from meat, absorbing only what it needs. It has no equivalent system for reduced elemental iron from cereals. The iron accumulates in organs, particularly the liver and heart, driving chronic oxidative stress through a reaction called the Fenton reaction, which directly generates hydroxyl radicals, one of the most damaging species for mitochondrial DNA. On top of the iron, most cereals contain 9 to 15 grams of added sugar per serving before you add milk or fruit. The combination of synthetic iron accumulation plus repeated glucose spikes creates sustained mitochondrial dysfunction that builds across years. Research in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition has linked high consumption of fortified cereals to elevated ferritin levels and oxidative stress markers, specifically in older adults. For men over 40 and postmenopausal women who no longer lose iron through menstruation, this accumulation is especially concerning. The cereal that has been marketed to your family for 50 years as part of a complete breakfast is delivering a daily dose of uncontrolled iron directly to your mitochondria. Here is the unifying mechanism that ties all 5 foods together. Every single one of them produces either rapid glucose spikes, high fructose loads, oxidized seed oil compounds, or excess free iron. Each of these triggers generates reactive oxygen species inside your cells. Those reactive oxygen species damage a specific molecule called cardiolipin, which lives inside the inner membrane of your mitochondria. Cardiolipin is essential for proper ATP production. Damaged cardiolipin means damaged energy production. Dr. Douglas Wallace at the University of Pennsylvania, a pioneer of modern mitochondrial medicine, has linked cardiolipin damage to nearly every major age-related chronic condition, including cardiovascular disease, neurodegenerative disease, metabolic syndrome, and sarcopenia. The breakfast pattern you have been following is not just about calories. It is a daily assault on the specific molecular structure that produces all of your energy. Every morning you eat these foods, you are chipping away at cardiolipin. Every morning you avoid them, you give those molecules a chance to repair. There is one more layer to this that makes the situation worse than it appears. Mitochondria operate on a circadian rhythm. Mitochondrial biogenesis, the creation of new healthy mitochondria, and mitochondrial repair both peak in the early morning hours. Hitting your body with a mitochondrial stressor at the exact moment when these repair processes should be running disrupts the entire cycle. Cortisol is naturally elevated in the morning for most adults, and adding a high glycemic meal on top of morning cortisol amplifies its catabolic effects. The insulin spike from a sugary breakfast shuts down fat oxidation for up to 4 hours. This means the single worst time of day to consume these foods is exactly the time most people consume them. Breakfast is not a neutral meal. It is the meal that sets the hormonal and mitochondrial trajectory for your entire day. So what should you eat instead? The mitochondrial breakfast framework is simple. Prioritize whole food protein, eggs cooked in butter, smoked salmon, plain full-fat Greek yogurt with a small amount of fresh berries, leftover chicken, or a protein-rich breakfast bowl. Include healthy fats from avocado, extra virgin olive oil, or grass-fed butter to support mitochondrial membrane health. The fat content is not the enemy. Your mitochondrial membranes are literally built from dietary fats, so the quality of fat you consume becomes the quality of the membranes you build. Add fiber-rich low glycemic vegetables rather than grain-based sides. Spinach, mushrooms, tomatoes, and peppers sautéed with eggs is a complete mitochondrial supportive meal. If you want to eat oats, choose steel-cut oats cooked in water with cinnamon and a small handful of walnuts, and skip the added sugar entirely. The glycemic impact of steel-cut oats is substantially lower than instant oatmeal because the grain is still intact. And honestly, consider simply delaying breakfast to 10 or 11 in the morning. This extends the overnight mitochondrial repair window and gives your body time to complete the cellular cleaning that happens when insulin is low. Within 3 to 4 weeks of replacing these 5 foods, morning energy improves noticeably. Brain fog begins to lift by mid-morning instead of crashing. Body composition starts to shift as your mitochondria regain the capacity to actually burn stored fat for fuel. Recovery from exercise improves. Sleep quality often improves as a downstream effect of restored metabolic signaling. The breakfast you eat tomorrow morning is the single most important meal for your mitochondria today. Stop feeding the damage, start feeding the repair.